My name is Luciana Rodriguez.
I'm Liliana Rivera.
My name is Christian Rodriguez.
My name is Xavier Mickens.
And I cover my sexuality.
And I cover my asexual ID.
And I cover my femininity.
I'll be covering my reading disability.
The main thing that I identify with is I identify as a lesbian. I think that any shame that I have felt because of my sexuality has come from within myself.
I identify as gender fluid. While I see myself as more masculine, I believe there's a significant part of me that is feminine.
I identify as asexual. Well, asexuality doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not attracted to males or females, but it does mean that I don't find sexual attraction in my own life and in my within my partners and who I have romantic relations with.
It's pretty much like dyslexia, but with a few extra things to it. The letters don't just look like other letters to me.
The first time, I think, was just realizing that this is who I am and this is just the way I am, I guess. I don't know, and just realizing that that isn't what society deems as normal, and feeling that shame within myself, oh, but that also doesn't seem right according to society standards or someone's standards.
I first noticed it when I was in 6th grade because that's when I started reading more often. However, I didn't mention it until the beginning of my 8th grade year in middle school. So not until 2 years after I noticed it, because that's when it started becoming a problem.
After middle school, I started thinking about it a lot, and I did have several instances where I was attracted to females, but I never really found myself thinking oh, I could end up with them, because I never really had that drive.
It was a slow realization over the years since I was a child. Just noticing that I would not prefer things that are quote unquote masculine, or sometimes I'd want to do things that are feminine.
It was very recent that I come out to my family. I got to a certain point where I just stopped caring about what I put on social media because I would censor myself extremely. My dad made an Instagram, which is just the most bizarre thing. I'm who do you know on Instagram other than me? And he saw, I think, a couple pictures of me and my now ex, and it was last summer, and I was in France, and my dad actually met up with me in Paris because I was studying abroad there, and he just met up with me in Paris, and we were just sitting in the hotel room talking, and we were talking about my friends, and then he brings up my friend. He's like, "You like her, don't you?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I do," and it's just something that I've been scared to say because it's not normal. My dad looked at me, he's like, "Who told you it's not normal?"
When I first noticed it, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't think that it was necessary to tell anybody. I figured it was, at that time, it was minor. So I was able to deal with it myself. I didn't really need to bring my parents into it. I never really tell them unless they need to know, unless it's starting to affect how I'm doing in school.
After I found the term asexual, I just really identified with it. There's more people just like me that don't have the same ruling inside of them that a lot of other people do. And I really, it blossomed in my life, and I've always known that in the back of my head, but not come to terms with it until about a year ago.
I've only told very few people about that. I mean, I've let people know about various aspects that, oh, I like to wear a dress once in a while. But parts that I express, wanting, for example, again, to wear makeup. When I was a kid and I wanted to paint my sister's nails when my mom was painting the nails and teaching them. And she'd get mad at me because why would I want to do that? That's not for boys.
And more so, when the doctor was like, "Yeah, we don't know what to call what you have." I was like, great. That really makes me feel better. Not only was I dragged to the doctor, but you can't tell me what's wrong. I appreciate that. So I haven't had any issues academically yet. I don't think that it'll become an issue. However, if it does, I'm probably still going to keep it to myself because I was able to manage in middle school and high school. So
I actually do, to this day, cover my sexuality. I work on campus, and my boss, she's someone I love and she's great, but she's this, older Mexican lady who's very religious and very traditional in that way. And so I've always have been scared of saying like, oh, my girlfriend this or my ex-girlfriend that or anything like that. And so, it's always been my best friend. I've always referred to my ex as my best friend. Honestly, because I just didn't know how it would be received, and I don't want to be at risk of anything.
I told one of my friends, and she was like, you just haven't met the right one. Like, maybe you just haven't been with the right partner, or like you haven't been with the right guy or the right girl. I'm like, no, like I definitely have had brushes with love and like been like in a place where I really feel connections and like I really feel like this person is someone that I want to spend time with and like someone that I could possibly love. But trying to tell someone that doesn't understand the term asexuality is almost just like a slap in the face, because they will just take it and warp it into whatever binary rules that they think are supposed to be for you. So she just told me that repeatedly, and then I just started breaking down and like crying, and I realized like this is probably the only time that I've ever felt this out of place and this rejected. So I know that this is like what I identify with. Like this is my like brooding. Like I know what this is what I am.
I was going through a breakup like, a month or two ago, and it was really hard not being able to talk to my boss, who's like my mom here, about what was going on, because I didn't know how it would be, silly for crying, how it would be received. Honestly, it's like, it's the worst thing having to say like, oh, my best friend who lives, in San Marcos, or, and she even asked me like, I know that you haven't been okay and I don't know why, but if you want to talk to me about anything, I'm all ears, and I just couldn't.
I still don't feel like that, like depression or anxiety. I just feel kind of like disappointment and an urging to like, sometimes I just want to wear a dress, sometimes I just want to wear makeup, but I consciously decide not to do those things in public unless I'm with a group of close friends, unless I'm at home and I know I'm safe. It's just because I'm afraid of how people will treat me or act towards me.
When I tell people, hey, I have a reading disability, whenever they see, then they know that I have other issues. So when I tell them that, on top of the other stuff that they know, it's like they give you this look that's kind of like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. Is there anything I can do? They give you kind of one of those looks, and I don't like those looks at all, because it makes me feel helpless, and I'm like, I'm not.
I think it would be nice to be completely out, and I would love that, but I think I'm always going to have that little bit of caution within myself.
I tend to be an optimistic person, and I think that soon enough people will stop caring as much about things like that. But I don't know, I mean, as long as it is as stigmatized as it is today, I'd probably still cover.
It's sad. It makes me sad that I can't, like, I've never told my family, I've never really told anyone. I've only told like probably like 10 people, and out of those 10 people, probably like 5 of them were okay with it. Out of those 5, like those are the real ones.
Well, when I just realized that I was gay, I thought that was it, and that explains, like, I don't know why I'm sensitive or why I'm other things. I realized that there is, like, yes, there's a part of me that is feminine, and that's an actual, like, thing that I experience. It's not just something I'm imagining or something that's can just be washed up as he's gay.
I don't know, I have a very great supportive friend group that I've made in college, and I think that I feel so comfortable around them. It feels like they don't even see me as any different than them.
Say 4 people. 3 people that I've known for quite a while, and then 1 person that I just recently met here at Texas State. The reason I pretty much trust them as much as I do is because I can always rely on them to not look at me the way everybody else does when I talk to them about not just my reading disability, but all the other issues that come along with me.
Like at my home with my very close friends, or like with my boyfriend, I feel completely free, or my dog, obviously, but like in those places I'll feel free to be however I am. It's important because I can be who I am at my most intrinsic self. Like I think that's so highly important for anyone to like be able to freely express themselves, as long as it doesn't harm others, like physically or emotionally. But like that should be something that everyone is able to do.
If people take the time and to just say like, hey, like, so I noticed that you're not really like into this or into that, so like what are you into? You know, like those people are my favorite people, and those people are the people that I like love to death, because it's not every day that you come across people that are willing to learn.